Well, good evening, everyone. This is Keith Jowers, and this is Dads for Life Friday Night Live, right here on the Dads Radio Network. I appreciate each and every one of you to watching here tonight, and all of my replay viewers. If you're a replay viewer and you have a comment, please you may do so also in the replay. I know that you are actually replay watching it. So, anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you for joining us here tonight. I'm Keith Jowers, founder of Dads for Life, Dads Radio Network, and all the other broadcasts that we are getting ready to launch. We're excited about the growth we're having this year, even in the pandemic that we came through. We were seeing some growth in just ourselves personally and how we can build the ministry up. And I hope you did the same. We came through a rough year, but you know what? Just things like that are going to happen in life, and we just have to, well, as it's been said before, pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And I tell you, I don't know why I got a double sound here going on. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you being with you tonight. We want to talk about, well, it's a continuation of what I was doing. Well, Wednesday night I think was our last broadcast. So we were talking about how a dad can benefit his daughter. And I tell you, I believe that we are in a time where dads are extremely important in their children's lives. Our motto here at Dads for Life is to encourage, enhance, enrich lives, or enrich our children and what we consider to be their greatest asset on earth, and that is their children. I'll get that right if I say that again. This is live, and I've had a long day, so we're going to try that again. We encourage, enhance, and enrich dads in what we consider to be their greatest asset here on earth, and that is their children. And I come to you and try to bring content that I feel like is important to a dad. But then we find that a lot of moms have followed what we've done over the years, in our 17th year here as a nonprofit organization, Dads for Life. And we're continuing to reach parents, both the dads and moms. And we actually have a lot of grandparents and even great grandparents, because it's a tough world, it seems like, in raising our children. And I encourage you to find those broadcasters, that content out there, those folks that can help encourage you to continue doing what we want you to do in the way of encouraging your kids in a positive way and learning all you can. And I can tell you that the more encouragement that you give your children, the better they're going to be in the long run, even though sometimes you don't think so. Even though sometimes you think that, well, what is it, what good is it for me to do that? Because we're doing everything we can, but yet they don't even seem to be listening sometimes. Well, I can tell you that talking to dads who just continue, and moms that continue to do the right thing all the time, at some point their child says, Mom and Dad, you were right. It may not seem like that all the time, but we just have to keep, you know, scratching at it, as we say here on the farm sometimes. Okay. I know that's a silly term or odd term to some, but my brother-in-law has been in heaven now for a few years. He actually taught me that. He said, well, Keith, when you can't get it, like digging a fence post up or trying to get to the root of a tree or something, then you just have to keep scratching at it. And I love my brother-in-law so much. And then, he one day we will reunite once again. So let's talk about a daughter needing her dad and why, as we can kind of continue on the message that we had the other night. And that is, a daughter needs her dad to teach her how a lady should be treated. I didn't say teach her how to be a lady, because that's hard for me to do. That's hard for me to teach our daughter how to be a lady, because I'm not a lady. Don't plan on being a lady. I know that I could teach her how a lady should be treated, and that's with respect. And a daughter needs her dad to teach her to recognize truth and reward truth when someone's talking to her in honesty and truth, and she knows it's the truth. Rewarding it back with possible with a good conversation back in truth. And when you're having a good truthful conversation with a friend or your family members, then the conversation seems to go a little easier, doesn't it? A daughter needs her dad to teach her to recognize sincerity and encourage her to always be sincere in what she is actually conversing with someone about. Being sincere. Truth is definitely the best way to go, but a lot of our world today operates in non-truths. A daughter needs her dad to teach her about fairness and that the world's not always going to be fair to her. But as her dad, you're going to always do your best to be fair in in the things that you're doing with your daughter, and and teaching her how to be fair at wherever she's at and whatever she's doing in school, and to be fair in sports, and because it's been said that the fair only comes once a year, was one dad's advice to his kids. And I'm not sure that's the best advice, but the truth is being fair is definitely the best way to go, even though you're not treated fairly sometimes. A daughter needs her dad to teach her that home is the safest place to be and always will be for her conversation and physically, to where dad can talk to her in truth, and let her know that anytime she's in trouble, she can always come home and feel safe. A daughter needs her dad to calm her when she's stressed by her own challenges, difficulties. I remember some of the difficulties our daughter was going through as she was growing up, and she would just say, "Dad, can I talk?" And I said, "Yes." And I let her talk, and I practiced listening a lot. Sometimes dads would rather talk more than they listen, and that's not always the best way to communicate. Sometimes it's better to communicate by just listening. And sometimes the daughter just needs her dad to teach her that even though she might have a strong will, character, there's ways to control that and to be more guided towards her strengths, and even though her strong willness sometimes is it's a way to that God made her to be more strong will maybe than others, maybe others in your own family or those at her school or her friends, that she's more strong will. Well, helping to harness that a little bit and show her that it's okay to be a little bit different and have a strong character. There's all different personalities. You've heard about A personality or B personality, and the different way we react to things. To a daughter needs her dad to fix her favorite things, and even how to teach her how to fix them herself sometimes. Now, I remember trying to teach our daughter how to check her own oil in her car when she was out on her own, and that the oil needed to be checked periodically in her car. And but maybe I forgot to teach our daughter how to secure the dipstick back down a little bit, because one day the engine started smoking a lot because the dipstick was out a little bit. And we had a good laugh after that, but she thought her engine was on fire because of all the smoke. So, dads, if we're teaching our daughters how to check her own oil in her car, then make sure we teach her how to secure that dipstick. I think a dad can teach her daughter how to show true love, and that it's unconditional, and teach her how the family should love each other, and how others that are showing their love to her, and by doing nice things to her or whatever. But teaching her what true love is when she finds that one. Dads who have daughters that have off already been married, then that that one is one day gonna come, and that's the conversation you have to be prepared for sometimes. But to teach her what real love is, and when that day comes. to teach her that not all boys do have her best interests in heart at heart. And I believe that the dads can have these conversations, but doing it from a manner that she would understand. I think a daughter needs her dad to teach her not to let pride stand in the way of discovering new things. I remember our daughter had, I think she changed her major a couple of times in college because she wasn't sure which way to go. And the one that she chose in international and business leadership and leadership organization, that really led her into what she's doing today. So give her time to navigate those waters because it's it's easier when you can help guide her through those difficult waters at times. I think a daughter needs her dad to teach her to experiment with things, and you know, when it doesn't work out, teach her how to accept disappointment for herself sometimes, and that we're going to have disappointments in life, and that all things are not going to work out like we thought. And as we get older dads, we understand that a lot of things in our own life didn't work out like we thought. But we got through them, didn't we? And if we can just share stories, our children do want to hear our stories. Now, our children will let us know when they've heard that story a few times. But I think when you when you do your very best to share it, you may not remember that you've shared it before, but if she says, "Well, you've told me this story before," then kind of laugh it off and just move on, I guess. But sometimes we're trying to get a point across, even though we might share the same story a couple of times. And a daughter needs their dad to teach her how to not really be so hard on herself and beating herself up in her own mind basically and a lot of that toxic thinking that might be going on and teaching her that she doesn't have to be perfect. That God made her perfect for your family and for herself and God is going to work out whatever weaknesses she thinks she has in time. We know as we get older we get wiser, or we should. The Bible says that gray hair is a crown of wisdom. Our daughter reminds me that I have wisdom highlights, and but I told her I'm still growing and I'm still learning myself. I think a dad should teach his daughter to be a giver. A giver of others in the way of well, not just being a taker. We're seeing a lot of young people today that have really believed that they just life is just all about taking, and we know that's not true. I think teaching our daughter to be a giver of hope, to be a giver of encouragement, uh, to be a giver of kindness, and a giver of love to others. And even Mother Teresa said at one time that we can do great things in love, great things in love, but we can do a lot of destruction things and hate too, can't we? We've seen that around our nation recently. Scripture for tonight is John 13:34, and it says, "A new commandment I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another." How much better would our world be if we were just really practice that a lot more? That we'd think that we're not always right, that we can make a mistake, and you know what? We can actually admit that we made a mistake to someone, and how respect that I was modeled. I wasn't really taught it so much, but it was modeled. And my grandfather, I could see how he treated other people, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of what race they're from. He just saw people as people. And I think a lot of times today that we don't really think about things that really hurt others down the road when we say them. But I think most of all is teaching our children, our daughter is what we're talking about tonight, is teaching our daughter that America was created or established by God, and that He created us all for a purpose, and that this is still the greatest country, in my opinion, that there is, even with all of our current problems going on. But we, as dads and moms, as parents, we could teach our children that loving one another is going to help us a lot further along in life. It really is, truly is. I grew up in a neighborhood where a lot of that wasn't practiced. But I can tell you that over time and the chosen career that I went into, because a couple of one particular gentleman mentored me and shared with me that, hey, this field of profession that we're going into and in law enforcement is not always respected, but we will always respect others. And that's true. I mean, I practiced that through my career. But as you get older and as you grow through life, you can learn things that can help someone else, no matter what age we are. One of the neatest things to me is talking to someone who has reached a magical age of 100. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you or not, but to talk to one that has reached that age and actually converse with them and have a good conversation with them to find out what brought them that far in life is really unique. If you ever get an opportunity to do that, just ask them a few questions about life, things that might have bugged you or what you think, and you'll find that a lot of them actually have had family that they have outlived, but that they love their family and that they really appreciated living in this country, and they really appreciated life, and I think sometimes we take it for granted. And I believe that as more we can find respect for each other and love for each other, and the more we can teach our children. I'm a visionary. I see things before they can happen. I still believe in our country, and I still believe that down the road, when we teach our children about love and respect, that we could turn this around. But I'm an optimist overall anyways, so it's the way I see things tonight. I'd like to tell you that Dads for Life is growing quite a bit as a nonprofit organization. People can partner with us on our website for very little or as much as they'd like to, but we have got a few partners and we're continuing to grow. We have a new show starting in May called Dad's Garage, and I've got a little tonight. You're the first one to see it. I chose this broadcast to show this promo for the very first time, and it'll go live on all of our platforms. Actually, it'll go live right now, but HAPS is the platform that I chose to show it on first. So let me get this started for you. You see what's coming up. Have you ever had a dream? Well, the place I'm at is the St. Augustine Classic Car Museum. It was founded by Sidney and Brenda Hobbs. They had a dream. They had a dream to bring all this to you. There's 98 cars in here, and there's from 1895 to 2020. That's 125 years of beauty. Truly, if you look around all these classic cars here, it's amazing. You can find anything just about that you're looking for. If not, they can find it. Well, you know what? I had a dream. I had a dream 17 years ago we'd start helping a few dads, and here we are 17 years later. There's 30,000 subscribers to Dads for Life and everything that we do. Well, recently we started a new show called Dad's Garage, and it's going to be talking about fatherhood issues and how we can all have these common traits together to be super dads. That's what Dad's Garage is going to bring you. And we're also going to talk about honoring those dads who have, well, they were really an impact, but yet now their time up here on earth is over, and now they've gone on, but their memories of their life with us as their children, well, they've lived on. And you know what? we're also going to honor them in a way of talking about their legacy and the things they've left. Right here at Dad's Garage at Dads for Life. So there you go. Dad's Garage will begin in May, and we're excited about that. You got any show topic ideas you want to send over to us, or tell us a story about your dad? We would love to hear it. You just write it, Keith at dadsforlife.com. Thank you, Tasha Hart, for giving me a high award tonight on Haps. I think that. That is our puzzle lady, Puzzled to Purpose. She is a wonderful lady who can help you kind of put things together in your life's puzzle if you want to reach out to Tasha. But I appreciate each and every one of you being with us tonight. I have another event. I'm going to go and see if I can encourage some kids tonight. So I look forward to seeing you next time. And right here on Dads for Life. And we are also starting a radio show, an international radio show come May. We'll be telling you more about that as we get better for that. Congratulations. I was telling a friend, collects antique cars here in Tennessee, about your show and life lessons. Well, thank you very much. I will be down at the Classic Car Museum of St. Augustine tomorrow, one of our sponsors, because from 8 to 10, we're having coffee and cars and a little bit of sweet too. So anyway, but it's going to be fun from 8 to 10 in the morning. If you're in the North Florida area, go down to St. Augustine to the Classic Car Museum, and you will see a lot of cars that people are bringing from around the neighborhoods. It's really cool. So, folks, have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, remember, I want you to go out and encourage, enhance, and enrich the life of someone today or tomorrow. But let's start with our children, no matter what age they are, because they truly do need it most. God bless you. Till next time. Bye-bye.